Okay, so after Littlefinger, man, marries Robin's mom, you hear her screaming across the narrow sea, which is really funny, like I stated before. But then all of a sudden, we fast forward to a later scene after, she's married to Littlefinger. She's sitting down with Lady Sansa, and she brings Lady Sansa a plate of lemon cakes. And immediately, man, I start smiling because I'm like, man, that's Lady Sansa's favorite food. So this is gonna be like an epic little moment. Maybe they're catching up and stuff. And you can see Lady Sansa and Lysa, man, they're sitting there talking, and she's explaining, Lady Sansa's aunt is explaining about her mother and explaining about, all these times that they've had. And then all of a sudden she kind of flips a little bit and she starts talking about how Lady Sansa's mother was always greedy. She was always the one that wanted to get the good person. She always wanted to get something that she couldn't have. Always wanted to get her hands on something. And she grabs the Lady Sansa's hand. She holds her hands and she starts pressing her thumbs into like her index finger, her ring finger. And she just starts flipping out, man. She freaks out and she starts accusing Lady Sansa of sleeping with Littlefinger. And she's like, what is he seeing you? What have you given him? And then Lady Sansa's like, I've done nothing. I've promised. I've done nothing. There's nothing. I'm a virgin. I promise you. I don't know anything. He's always said that I'm stupid. And obviously I had to do the voice because it was just absolutely hilarious, man. I love it when, Lady Sansa, gets into a situation where she has to be like uncomfortable, man, because that's when her best acting comes out, man. I love that. But as she's talking, like she's literally pushing her hands in. So Lady Sansa, she says, "You're hurting me. Please stop. You're hurting me." And then after that, once her aunt sees that she's not, lying anymore, she releases her hands and then she comes up to her. She puts her head like on her stomach as she's standing up in front of her. Lady Sansa's sitting in her seat and she hugs her and she's like, there, child. Everything's going to be okay. And then she says, everything will be fine as soon as you marry Robin. And then Lady Sansa's eyes just get so big. They're looking out. She's just like, she's back into the, I guess, the same situation she was in with the Lannisters. She's now a prisoner of this new realm, man. And it's like she left the Lannisters and she headed to Erie, and now she's a prisoner, man. It's I don't understand it, but that's crazy, man. She said that she wants Lady Sansa, man, to be the Lady of the Vale. And then that was it, man. It was crazy. I was nervous the whole entire time, man. Like I said, man, a great episode, man, of Game of Thrones. Okay, heading to talk about Arya and the Hound, man. Okay, so we remember that preview. If you guys remember that preview of Game of Thrones, they had that preview where Arya's she's on the ground. She's kind of naming out all these names, Tyrion Lannister and blah 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 blah. She's naming off like 50 names. And then the dog says, what are those names or whatever? And then she says, those are the names of the people that I'm going to kill. And, well, the hound, the hound says to Arya, he says, well, shut it up. I'm trying to get some sleep or whatever. And then she rolls back over and she says, well, before she rolls back over, she says, don't worry, I only have one more name left. She rolls back over. The dog's like, well, that's fine. You can go and say that. I have no problem with that. Get it over with or whatever. And then she rolls over and then she says, the Hound. And that's it. Then they cut the scene. And it was crazy because, like, she literally said his name, man. Like, I was like, what? I didn't see that coming, man. I guess I kind of did because of some of the past stuff, obviously in season 1, season 2, but yeah, I thought they were getting along, but, she's focused, man. She's determined. In the morning, when the Hound wakes up, and he wakes up to find that Arya is gone. She's missing, man. But we find her down by the river. Yeah, I was thinking about Chris Farley. But, yeah, she was down by the river doing this water dancing. And she was taught that back in, I think, like, season 1 or season 2, one of the two. And by that one great warrior, that great master of the land, great swordsman, that ended up sacrificing himself, when he fought those guys with those wooden sword. And then the dog, the Hound comes down there and he's like, what are you doing down there? It doesn't make any sense. He's like, don't leave like that again without telling me or whatever. And then she kind of defends herself and says, I'm down here, water dancing. He's like, well, what's water dancing? And then she kind of explains to him, and then she explains to him about the master was killed, and he was killed by somebody in the land that really wasn't a warrior. And then the Hound starts laughing. And then Arya says, you want me to try it out on you or whatever and see if you can defend it? And he says, well, give it a try. Well, she goes a little too far, and she actually stabs him in the stomach. But obviously, he had his mail on, so she couldn't really, penetrate the armor and stuff like that. So, and then after that, he backhands her on the ground, and and then picks her up, and then that's it. And then they cut to the man. He kind of taught her like a life lesson, I guess you can say, man. That if in order to win a battle, you have to have a big sword, and you have to have the skills to use a sword, man. So that was kind of like a little life lesson there, man. And the last thing that we'll talk about, I'm gonna cut it to another podcast, man, because this one is I need to talk about this for a little bit. But just to kind of wrap things up, Tommen is king. Marjorie and Cersei are kind of getting along, but they're taking jabs at each other. Marjorie is definitely going to be getting with Tommen. That's what Cersei wants. That's what Cersei has told her dad. Real quick, the Iron Bank, man. We're going to talk about this for a second. The Lannisters are in tremendous debt to the Iron Bank. It's a temple. It's like a First National Bank, I guess you can say, man. And if you don't pay your debts, you'll die. So that's kind of something that, I forgot to mention, but I got it now. Lady Sansa, Littlefinger, are inside of Eyrie, and they are with Lysa and Robin. And now Littlefinger is married to Lady Lysa, or Aunt Lysa, whatever you want to call her. Robin and Lady Sansa will be married pretty soon. Looks like Hodor got his time to battle today, or tonight, I should say. And then Jon Snow and Bran are not reunited yet. Bran's heading towards this weirwood tree, and then Jon Snow is going to take his people back and defend himself against the Mace Riders. Let me see. Lady Brienne of Tarth is still on her journey. And that is about it, man. We'll stop there, guys. Thanks again for listening, and catch the other one.